Excellent. Hey, welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. It's me, Adam Hunter. I'm here with Greg Romero-Wilson. Weendawg. We got a special show today. We got Colby Covington calling in, or Skype zooming in. It's going to be amazing. I want to thank Speedweed, our sponsor. Listen, marijuana is legal in California. Get it delivered right to you, especially now during the pandemic. Don't leave your house to go to a dispensary. Probably a lot of germs in there. Okay. However, they will take care of you. Speedweed.com. Go to speedweed.com. Follow them at Speedweed. Great people. Mention MMA Roasted. You get 10% off, $100 and more. Meanwhile, I was like happier this weekend because of the UFC. It was so great to like just have MMA back. I mean, it was like fun. It was like, wow, my whole life was I was just a happier person.
Listen, let me tell you, bro. Normally when it comes to a pay-per-view, I wait until the very last second to order it. I wait to see if some other plans come up. I wait to see if I end up booking a show or if somebody wants to go see it at a bar, whatever. I wait till the last second. With this one, I mean, I was like, I better pay for it and get it in advance. Make sure I've got all my ducks in a row. Like, I didn't want anything to screw up to see some sport.
It was amazing. And the guy in the crowd was on his feet the entire time. And you know what? I think there is something to not having a crowd, because sometimes like when you as a comic, I tell a joke and you get a huge response, you could sort of admire your own work or think that you're killing so you don't work as hard. There might be something where you punch somebody in the face and you don't hear that huge roar. So you think you have to punch the guy even harder next time. Because it seemed like every fight was like to the death. I mean, from the opening one, from Sam Alvey. When the Sam Alvey fight is exciting.
Oh, man, what a fight that was, too, man.
That's when you know. So let's, Weendawg, how are you, by the way?
I'm good, dude. I'm freaking pissed because I lost so much money on these fights, dude. So much money.
I almost did, too, bro. I was ready to – let me tell you something. The Wilson kiss of death was in full effect.
Yeah.
Dude, well, Jack Jr. hit me up. He goes, who do you pick? And I gave him 5 guys. And I hit the first 4. And then I'm like, of course I did, because I didn't bet on any of them.
Right.
And then I'm even trying to go, hey, how much are you going to win? Thinking he'll throw me something. He's like, thanks, bro. Doesn't even say he's going to throw me any of the fucking.
Of course not.
I was wrong on Ferguson, so I had 4 to 5. But so let's talk about that Tony Ferguson fight. First of all, yeah, I was wrong on the Tony Ferguson-Gaethje fight.
Oh, me too. Dead wrong.
At the same time, the more I think about it, look, there's only a matter of that style of fighting, of getting hit, fucking getting knocked down, coming back up, hoping the guy breaks his hand on your face, just like no defense, all offense, eventually will catch up to you. You can't do that over and over and over again. And I thought that the Khabib fight was going to catch up to him, because I'm like, well, who makes more mistakes? I go, Khabib or Tony? And I go, obviously Tony makes a lot more mistakes. Khabib's going to capitalize on some of these mistakes, is not going to let up or, gas out like some of his other opponents. I didn't think that Justin Gaethje was going to fight as disciplined as he did. Disciplined Gaethje is a scary Justin Gaethje. I mean, even his own corner was like, every time you have fun, you get knocked out. Don't have fun in there. I'm like, which is also like such a crazy thing to say, is when you have too much fun is when you get knocked out.
Sometimes you got to remind a guy, you got to remind him, and apparently it worked. And I'll tell you this, it reminded me, and this is old school. This is for the old school fight fans back then. It reminded me of Ray Boom Boom Mancini fights.
Yeah.
Boom Boom Mancini was like, I can take more of yours to the face than you can take of mine.
Yeah.
And that's what this felt like. Like, who can take, and it became clear very early that the Gaethje could take more, because he actually wasn't taking more. He wasn't getting hit off it.
Youngstown, Ohio, Mancini, the party Youngstown, and killed the guy in the ring, which was awful.
Dooku Kim, and he wound up retiring because of that. He never got over that emotionally.
I met him, super sweet guy. Now I'll tell you what. With that fight, so it was pretty clear early on. At the same time, Ferguson's always in every fight, and man, that guy has a shit on him. I mean, there's a guy that if you were ever going to be in battle in a war, you had to pick 5 guys to have 5 UFC fighters. Tony Ferguson might be on my team, because
without question
would be on my, because he just keeps going and he keeps going. I'll tell you
that's why I call him the Terminator, because he did that in this fight. He just kept taking. It was like watching the Terminator. And he's just until he broke his eye, And that's the thing. I thought he would take it to the ground. I thought at some point, a lot sooner, he would take it to the ground. Never took it to the ground.
I think the mock weight cut was a bad idea. I don't know why he did that. So I don't know if you know this, Greg. When he was originally supposed to fight Khabib on, I think it was April 18th was the date, he still made weight. Even though the fight was off, this dude is like, I'm going to show that I can make weight. So he cuts down to 55 from 85, 90, maybe 200 pounds, makes weight. He probably had like a fake face-off with himself, or like talk shit to himself, did a press conference, did a mock ring. So to prove a point, he made weight. And that was not a smart thing to do in hindsight. I don't think.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, these guys, they time it. It's sort of like the extra time worked in Gaethje's favor. I think it worked against Ferguson, because he had been building to peak for the April 18 fight, and obviously when that doesn't happen, then now he's out of rhythm for his build-up. So it may have been one of those things that, while it worked in Gaethje's favor, it ended up, especially when he went ahead and did the weight cut. I mean, clearly he was building up to that, so he was like, "Fuck it, I'm going through it," and we saw the results of that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I mean, look, if those guys fought every week, I'd watch every single week. Were kind of funny. Afterwards, I thought it was kind of funny when Gaethje came over to shake his hand, and he was like, "Get away," and Gaethje goes, "Hey man, being an asshole won't get you anywhere." Right.
Yeah.
Which I tend to disagree. I think I know a lot of people that are assholes that are doing very well in life, especially in the comedy career.
And when you're headlining a UFC pay-per-view event, I mean, that's kind of somewhere, right?
Yeah, number one. But number two, think about all the assholes we know, Greg. I mean, fucking like Schaub or Amy Schumer or Chelsea Handler, Eliza. I mean, the list goes on of comedians that are doing very well who are sometimes assholes to people.
Well, being an asshole kind of I mean, there are a few nice guy comics, but let's be honest. Being an asshole, being egotistical, I mean, there's certain things that just go into becoming a comedian.
That's why I think that actually.
I mean, I am a huge asshole.
I think being nice is actually worse than being an asshole. Being nice will keep you friends with fucking CB Gold and keeping fucking Joe on the podcast and fucking I'm saying, like, being nice is the wrong way to go. It seems like
it is. You're right.
Being an asshole and being one of those guys that wants to climb up the ladder and nice certain people because they're going to help your career and yada yada and fake. I don't know. So I tend to disagree with that. Being an asshole won't get you anywhere. In the comedy world and even in the MMA world. I mean, look at Colby. When Colby was this nice fucking guy, no one was talking about him. Then he comes across and just starts saying outlandish, crazy shit. People are all paying attention. So,
listen, but I mean, it's a pendulum swing. I mean, we are nice guys do get their day. They really do. I mean, there's a lot of nice guys. So it's really about mastery and doing your best and doing what works for you and is genuine for you.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to be a nice person.
Yeah, you have to believe it.
You have to. Otherwise, it's like, what's the point, right?
I will say this, though, about the empty arena thing, being able to really hear those punches.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. I mean, the commentators, I guess because they were right there, they kept talking about being able to hear the breathing. But I think it was being able to hear that. I mean, it's one thing to see it and know that it's happening. It's another thing to hear it, too. I mean, I thought that was very impactful for the viewer experience myself. I mean, I was, especially these fights and how just brutal these fights were. I think I was more invested than I've ever been.
Yeah, but I also think that, like, Rogan and them need to, like, I don't know, get, like, a glass thing to talk into something, because they were saying things that the fighters were hearing them. Like when he said his corner told him to go for Eminari roll, like everyone in the arena then knew what he was going to go for. I mean, he just killed everybody. And even, the fighter even said, Greg Hardy was like, yeah, I heard you saying this, so I like changed my whole strategy.
Well, and is that such a bad thing? I mean, they don't have to listen to it. I mean, some guys say they block everything out and don't hear it no matter what anyway. I mean, I don't know.
But when you're repeating what the corner is saying, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, and they also, especially when they're giving away like what he's got to do right now, he's got to throw his left over the, he's got to roll to his right. I mean, yeah, they are kind of giving away, the other guy's like, oh, he's got to roll to his right. I have to defend that. So in that regard, yeah, it's really fucking bad when you're describing what's happening in the moment.
Yeah.
Also, Joe, John, and DC were all sitting like opposite sides of the octagon from each other. So you have like this trifecta of voices coming from every single angle. How stupid was that? In my opinion, that decision was so stupid to have all of them sitting in different sides. Well, but they're all tested. They're all fine.
You have to keep in mind, it's the first time there were going to be mistakes. They were trying to visually play it safe. Because if you notice in the intro, they had them apart, but in one shot. And so clearly, the whole they had been tested thing was in play for the opening shot, but then they separated them out. Mm-hmm. And again, that's a matter of optics. That's a matter of public opinion. That's a matter of this being the first time around, them trying to play it safe. And I think that's what you learned from it. I think that you learned that they were trying to talk to each other across the ring and giving everything away to the fucking fighters.
I just can't believe there's another fight on Wednesday and Saturday.
I know, 2 days.
This is pretty awesome. All right, so we'll talk about now, okay, so what should happen, do you think, for Gaethje? Because so Khabib writes no comment during the fight. Then he writes, hey, keep your head up. I'm pretty sure that Gaethje is managed by Ali Abdelaziz, and so is Khabib. So that's going to be interesting. They have the same manager, because what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, having the same manager, I mean, if Dana, and those guys say it's a fight, it's a fight. I don't think the manager really has the power to say, no, I don't want my guys fighting each other.
No, I know, but normally I don't know. I don't remember a fight where a title fight where the guys had the same manager. That's kind of rare. So as far as negotiating the pay and stuff, and it's the same manager, that's just interesting to me. I have to really think about that. But
I think for the manager, he's walking around with the biggest cock in UFC. If you got fucking Khabib and Gaethje, you're feeling pretty good about yourself when you show up to the Zoom meetings.
So Ben Askren tweeted out, do they risk having Gaethje versus McGregor? Man, that would be an awesome fight.
That would sell better. I mean, honestly, better than Khabib Gaethje. Conor Gaethje would absolutely sell the most.
I think so, but with Khabib, there's a lot of Muslims in this world.
It's not about that. It's a matter of they could probably get to Conor a lot sooner than they can get to Khabib.
Yeah, but I'm saying as far as pay-per-view buys, Khabib's a huge draw. I mean, not as big
Russia.
But come on, but Conor is still by far and away number one.
You're right, but Khabib's pretty close. Maybe not that. I don't know. Khabib is pretty fucking popular right now. But you're right.
He is popular, but Conor's, he's a force of nature. I mean, that branding is unstoppable. So I still think Khabib Gaethje would be by far a better seller than Khabib. Or rather, Conor Gaethje versus Khabib Gaethje.
I think Gaethje's going to win that fight too.
What? I still think that Khabib beats Gaethje. I think that Gaethje beats Conor, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. I mean, at one point I thought Conor would beat Gaethje, but based on that last performance, I don't know.
I have to say this, and I think I even texted this to you, but I mean, Gaethje, I was so wrong. This kid's hands, they were in this fight, and I watched two of the other fights before this one, and that's why I really felt great about Tony Ferguson, because I didn't feel like Justin had as much of I don't know, Ferguson's so all over the place and surprises you and does crazy things that he really didn't do a lot of in this particular fight. He just kind of fought him straight up. He usually is kind of like, oh, weird, this, that. I felt like that's what was missing from Ferguson's game in this one. But Gaethje's hands, honestly, but they reminded me of Mike Tyson in their speed and power, because you just don't see that kind of out of nowhere speed and power.
Mike Tyson lands 3 of those punches anyone in the world's out except for maybe Holyfield or Lennox Lewis. Gaethje landed 10,000.
Well, the weight has to be considered, but I mean, that kind of speed power combination, it was really remarkable to me. It did.
Even Teddy Atlas, who's not even a huge MMA fan, was like really impressed with his boxing. But I also think his lack of recklessness, because what used to make Gaethje so exciting, and I followed Gaethje from the Palomino fights, from the Nick Newell fights, from when he was in WSOF to when he came out, was he would put himself in danger a lot. So, but he didn't do that in this fight. Even in the fight against Poirier, who he lost to against Dustin Poirier, or Eddie Alvarez, who he lost to, he looked good, but he was also sloppy, and he seemed to really clean that up. Now, Dominick Cruz versus Cejudo. First of all,
I mean, you had it, dude. We called it.
Yeah, we did call it. And like Cejudo's, Cejudo's coach, Eric, who I like a lot, he hits me up. He's like, yo, give me some jokes about Dominick, right? And I was like, all right. First of all, I was kind of rooting for Dominick. I know Dominick better than, I don't really know Cejudo. So I was like, all right. And then he just kept, then he did like a Instagram live. He was using my jokes for dude, like a half hour.
Dude, that's awesome. That's
a half hour for the fight. He's like, give me some more Cruz jokes. I'm like, dude, just win the fucking fight. Like, what are you worried about the jokes for? Like, what? But
he's the manager. He's pumping it up. It's good for him.
He's the wrestling coach. He also coaches the Pitbull brothers. And he coaches Korean Zombie. And he coaches the Eraser. What's that guy who's gonna fight John Jones? What's his name? The guy with the undefeated guy that beat he beat what's his name? He beat Romero. He's undefeated.
Oh, Paulo Costa.
Yeah. He's a Paulo Costa's coach. This guy's hilarious. Wow. He wants to come on the podcast. I like the guy, but I'm like, he was like bullying me into fucking giving him jokes. And then I was giving him jokes on the spot. He's like, that's not that funny. I'm like, fucking, what do you want? All right. Like,
then go write your own jokes. Exactly. You asked me for free. This is what you get for free. Put $200 in the Venmo and I'll really focus.
Exactly. What do I think the fight was stopped too fast? I mean, look, yes, because there was like 10 seconds left. But it was not one of my top 20 worst stoppages of all time. Like,
yeah. I
mean, Cruz his head went back. He took about 10 shots to the face.
Yeah. And then the thing is, he kept saying, well, I was standing up. And I'm like, well, but that doesn't mean you were going to stand up. It doesn't mean you were going to make it to your feet. He could have gotten 3 more in on your face, and you could have collapsed right back down. You could have taken 5, 6 more unnecessary strikes. And considering he was not defending those strikes, he was just taking them.
Yeah.
I actually felt it was a good stoppage. I thought he just saved him additional punishment. It had been so many undefended consecutive strikes to the head. Yeah, I thought the judge did the exact right thing, the ref.
And not to mention, Cruz doesn't get hurt that often. It's not one of these guys that like gets rocked and comes back and gets rocked and comes back. So when he gets rocked, it's like, ooh, like he's not one of these dudes he's not a Tony Ferguson type fighter where you're like, oh, don't stop it until he's fucking completely dead. Cruz has never really been stopped by strikes ever. Yeah. He's only been stopped by guillotine, I think.
And did you feel, because I felt you could see the age on him. I felt like it was definitely, the step was, that little skip step, whatever he does, was definitely a lot slower than it was in the past.
And I love DC, he's a friend of mine, but I did feel like they were a little biased towards him because they're his buddies.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were like, Cruz is looking amazing. He's looking great. Like,
yeah.
Quick topic. It didn't seem like how I would react if my friend was fighting.
Right.
There was a little bit of bias there.
Well, and I mean, he did look good physically. He looked fantastic. He looked refreshed. But I mean, when they started fighting, I thought the loss of step, I thought was pretty evident.
So he claims that the ref smelled like alcohol and cigarettes.
Like Peterson,
yeah,
favorite referee.
Oh, well, Peterson looks like alcohol and cigarettes.
Oh yeah, Bobby Hill has a gravelly voice.
He looks like you could smell it through the TV, like, right? I mean,
yeah, totally.
There was one ref that would smell like meth. It would be Keith Peterson, but at the same time, it's like, eh. So then somebody who has a fake Keith Peterson account hit me up and was like, I was trying to like go back at him, like, and just go, and people thought it was really him and yada yada. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I was kind of, so then Cejudo retired, which was like the weirdest retirement ever.
Right.
Weirdest. To no crowd. He decided,
I know. I was so pissed.
No crowd. I'm going to announce my retirement. He was wearing the gold medal from the Olympics. I mean, when I saw the gold medal, I was like, why the fuck did he bring the gold medal? And then when he announced the retirement, I was like, oh, I get it now. Okay.
You think he wears it during sex, that guy? I feel like he does. I feel like
I would, dude. I would wear it while he
masturbates.
You'd wear it when you masturbate, really?
No, I said he wears it while he masturbates. Not me.
But yeah.
Hey, let me just tell you, if it were mine, it would go from a gold to a silver in a week.
Oh.
So then Petra Yan says that Cejudo's running from him. Look, Cejudo's is not running from anybody. They did, but his coach told me he was going to call out Volkanovski after he won at 145 and go up to 145. And you know what? I think he's got a great shot at beating Volkanovski at 145. I mean, he could be the first guy to win at 25, 35, and 45. He's that good, which is why I don't think that he's going to retire. I think this is all a big money ploy of he's going to come out of retirement, and then it just seems like it's too soon. Like he beat Demetrius Johnson, he beat TJ Dillashaw, he beat Marlon Moraes, now he beat Dominick Cruz, but it still doesn't seem enough for him to retire as the best ever, you know? But if he keeps going up weight classes and winning belts, yeah, I don't think he's going to stay retired. The people at the treehouse are very upset about the whole thing. Ngannou versus Big Boy. All right.
Oh,
everybody coaching anyone that fights Ngannou. Do not go punch for punch with this guy. You're not gonna win that battle. Like, go.
I love the concern that Ngannou had for what he'd done. I mean, the way. Remember when he stood over him? He didn't stand over him and he stood over like, "Is he okay? Are you all right? Yo, man, get up." He looked so concerned that he really, killed him. I mean, it was that.
Now, Freddie Roach once told me, I used to, go box at Wild Card, and I talked to him about getting knocked out, and he's like, those guys that knock you out are sometimes doing you a favor. I go, what do you mean? He goes, they knock you out one round versus getting 12 rounds of beating and boxing. Now, the more I think about that, I'm like, okay, does Big Boy, would you rather get knocked out like that with one clean punch, or take the beating that Ferguson took? Because I feel like the beating that Ferguson took is going to be more long-term damage for your career and your brain and everything else than the one punch that hit Ngannou. I mean, that hit Big Boy.
I think absolutely. I think without question. I mean, yeah, but I mean, he knocked his soul out of his body.
Yeah, does it have to be from Francis? Can I pick which fighter knocks me out?
Exactly.
No, but if
he knocked him into next week, man. That was woo. And you could hear it. That was the other thing. Again, back to when you heard that crack, you were just like, you were like, stay down.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to choose to lose, I'd rather lose the way Ferguson lost. It was a closer fight. There were times where he hurt Gaethje, whereas Big Boy was never in the fight. Even Ngannou tweeted out, the face-off lasts longer than the fight, which I thought was kind of like, come on, dude. Like, you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. That's a little, you didn't need that.
Like, we get it, But at the same time, like the Ben Askren thing. Like, people get, knocked out by, I got hit by a car when I was younger. You get, knocked out in, football, concussion, you're out. Whereas the sustained beating of taking 900 punches to the face, that's got to
be. No. And the way he broke his eye orbital bone and everything like this, it definitely, Rosenstrike is going to wake up, but that orbital is going to take a long time.
But they do say that every time you get knocked out, your chin gets a little weaker. That's the myth. That it's easier for you to get your lights turned off.
I think that's absolutely true, though. I think we've seen that demonstrated over and over again in the UFC.
Have we, though? Because you look at guys like Arlovsky, who were on 7-fight losing streaks.
Yeah, but that guy's built out of cement.
But then he came back and won his next 9 fights and got hit pretty hard and didn't get knocked out.
But we've seen a lot of guys that don't get knocked out for a while, then get knocked out once, and all of a sudden they get knocked out consecutively.
Look at James Vick. He's the prime example right now. James Vick was a destroyer at 155. He was 7 feet tall, just destroying everybody. He got knocked out once, I forget who, and then Justin Gaethje knocked him out, and then
Yeah, I mean, we've
Bryce
seen
knocked
that a
him out.
lot, where a guy goes 4, 5, 6 fights without getting knocked out, then gets knocked out once, and then becomes a knockout machine. You get knocked out every fight.
But I can
so
counter
I
that.
think it absolutely is
I
true.
can counter that though with Bisping, who got knocked out by Hendo, like out cold, and then didn't get knocked out for a long time. I mean, if ever. Did he get knocked out again?
Well, I think there are more exceptions that prove the rule than not.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Now, Dana White threatened to strip Stipe Miocic's belt if Miocic doesn't fight doesn't defend his belt. He's saying, "Look, I'm a first responder. I'm a fireman. The gyms are closed. They're not allowed to open the gym in my state. My coach isn't around. Like, as soon as they say I can train again, I'll train again." I kind of got to side with Stipe on this, right?
Without question. Yeah, he's not in a position where he can train properly to prepare for a fight. And being a first responder means he's still working and that they still need him on a daily basis, especially during this crisis. So, I mean, we all know that when you call 911 and you ask for an ambulance, the first thing they said for some reason is the fire truck.
Right.
Or the fire ambulance. So, he is kind of in a fixed position.
But if you're Dana, do you say, well, listen, you're also the UFC champion of the world. It was your choice to do a second job, and this job is the one where I care about.
Well, I think that would be true if he could train. If the gyms were open, if he had access to his training partners and his coaches and stuff, then yes, then he's choosing one over the other, and then it's totally different. But when you can't train. Right. When and I would also say that fighters probably vary in the amount they rely on coaches one to the other. And if he's one of those guys that absolutely does not feel comfortable without having his coach right there in person throughout the entire situation, then he's setting himself up for a loss, an unnecessary loss.
And you're also training against Daniel Cormier, who's, two-time Olympian, one of the best fighters of all time. It's not like he's training for, any of us three. I mean, he has to fight the best guy in the fucking world, one of them. So of course you're going to need the gym to be open in you, right? So I hear you.
DC looked like he'd been putting on his quarantine 15 too, though.
Oh, haven't we all, dude?
I know we all have, absolutely. But it was nice to see it also happen to a professional athlete.
I think Stipe should just relinquish his title for now. Let DC have his last fight against Francis, so that will solidify Stipe going back and for sure fighting for the belt one last time or whatever it is.
No, fuck that, dude. He earned his title. He went out and got knocked out by. He came back, beat him. I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
Well, I'm just saying that because I know DC's not going to go out on his last fight for an interim title. I don't think he wants to do that. He wants to go out on the.
I think DC though is so far from being in fight condition right now.
No, that's how he always is. That's how he looks, bro. Jeremy Stevens versus Qatar. I kind of fell for Stevens. He was looking so good,
dude. I had Stevens all day.
In the first round, you were right. He looked amazing, and then that elbow just came out of nowhere.
It's timing. It's the timing thing. He was coming in, that elbow was going, it just crunched his fucking face.
And then Greg Hardy, I feel like Greg Hardy, every time he fights, something's odd. Like this, it seemed like his opponent was only there for one round. Like he was like, I'm just going to fight for one round.
Yeah, like why is this? Okay, why is Greg, first of all, why are there 2 heavyweight fights on the main card? First of all. Yeah. Okay. That's stupid. And then why are they pushing Greg Hardy so much? He's not that good. Nobody really likes him. Nobody really hates him. Nobody feels shit, and yet they're just like they keep propping him up.
No, he's raw. He's an NFL star. He comes with a lot of baggage. Like him or not, he does create clicks. He keeps surprising me because I thought he was going to get his ass kicked that first round. The other guy came out guns a-blazing, and I'm like, oh, he's going to catch Hardy. And then he just stopped fighting.
Yeah, he just ran out of gas hard. That was the other thing. That's why I was like, this is how you open the pay-per-view main card, is with this garbage. And honestly, if I had to say, just because of that fight, I felt like the undercard was actually better than the main card. If not, at least
I don't know, man. That
fight to fight, you add it all up. I think they were one fight better on the undercard.
Well, somebody that we have here. We have the man, the myth, the legend is just joining us. Colby Covington, one of the greatest fighters in the world. A guy who is exciting, controversial, training. Just got back from Muay Thai practice, right?
Haven't even left yet. Still here, brother. Still sweating. Feeling good.
Looking good. Looking good,
nice.
Man. Right here with the best Muay Thai trainer in the entire world, Gregory Choplin. How many times you win the WBC Muay Thai Championships? 5 times.
Damn. Look at soccer shirt and everything, man. You can tell that guy's good. He's got a soccer shirt.
That guy's nasty. You don't want to mess with that guy. That dude will knock out anybody on the feet.
Fuck that. How are you doing, Colby?
I'm doing good, brother. Training hard, feeling great. Just ready to save America and save sports whenever they put me back in.
I know. I by the way, I saw the video of you with those girls for the betting thing. I don't know. They keep getting hotter. But where do you meet those girls? And how do, like, if I ever got divorced, even the first person I would call, because good work on that, by the way. Not really a question, just saying good work on that.
Well, of course, a lot of them are reaching out to me by DM. They want to jump on, what's hot right now, and I'm hot right now, and my name's blowing up. So of course they're trying to reach me through the DMs. But I also have a girl down here in South Florida that's the plug, and she helps me out. She has a lot of friends. She grew up here, so she's worked for the Dolphins, for the Miami Heat, for the Miami Marlins. So she knows all the women, all the cheerleaders, everything. So it's pretty nice.
That's a good hookup right there. What did you think of Ferguson versus Gaethje? What are your thoughts on that fight?
My thoughts on that fight were, I kind of saw that coming. We all knew that Tony, he gets hit a lot in fights. He gets dropped. And I just didn't think it was a very good fight for him. But, I wasn't really surprised. He just comes forward. He doesn't have a lot of diverse striking attacks. So, I figured Gaethje was going to have harder strikes and be able to put him down.
Were you impressed by Gaethje?
Yeah, I was impressed by Gaethje. He's came a long way since his UFC debut. You could tell he's a lot more patient out there. In his UFC debut and his first couple fights, he was just reckless. He just went out there and, putting his body and brain on the line and with no real strategy, just to put you in a dogfight and hopefully he lands first. But now you could tell, he's really looking to pick his shots and make his shots count. And his shots counted versus Ferguson, so he's gotten a lot better.
How do you think it's gonna be? They're gonna make Khabib versus Gaethje or Conor versus Gaethje, and how do you see those fights going?
Yeah, man, I don't think they're gonna make Khabib versus Gaethje. I think there's a conflict of interest because they have the same manager, that little rat Ali Abdelaziz, and then also I don't think Khabib really wants to fight a guy that can wrestle, and Gaethje's got some pretty good wrestling. He wrestled at UNC. I was at Oregon State, so we always wrestled him in dual meets and stuff, and he was All-American wrestler. So he's got some good wrestling credentials, and I don't think Khabib can strike with him. And so you might see Khabib come back and look for that money fight with Conor and then look to retire in the sunset.
Yeah. Now, as far as Conor or Gaethje, who do you think wins?
Conor Gaethje, man, that's a fun fight, man. I really don't know. I think Gaethje would get him because he's got bigger strikes. He's a little bit more patient, but Conor has shown that he could put anybody out, but, those are lightweights, so who knows? Why are we talking about the little boys? Let's talk about the real men at welterweight. Raw American Steel and Twisted Sex Appeal, baby.
We will. Speaking of, all right, Tyron Woodley versus Burns this Saturday. Who wins this one?
They're not fighting this Saturday.
Aren't they fighting?
Nah, Walt Harris is fighting Alistair Overeem this Saturday.
Oh, when's I thought they made Burns versus Woodley. I thought wasn't that a go? Check on that for me, Joe. But who wins that anyway?
I mean, I don't know who the other guy is. I think his name is Dilbert or something like that. But, last time I talked to my agent, Lloyd, with Ballinger Group, he said the fight wasn't confirmed and signed. So, I don't know. I've never heard of Dilbert. Tyron Woodley's washed up. He's trying to do these rap albums. He spread himself thin trying to do TMZ, talk about the Kardashians and the Biebers all the time. So I don't think it's the same Tyron Woodley of the past, and I really don't care about that fight. I just want my rematch with Marty Fake Newsman or Journeyman George Masvidal, and the world's going to see who the best welterweight in the world is right now.
Journeyman, but he's a teammate of yours. Journeyman, I mean, come on.
He's the definition. When they have Journeyman in the dictionary, Jorge Street Judas Masvidal is in the dictionary next to Journeyman. A guy with, double-digit losses, like 14, 15 losses. A guy who's barely 50-50 in the last couple of years. If you go pull his record up right now, the guy's a jobber. I mean, yeah, he hit lightning in a bottle. He got some hype on him. He got a couple flashy knockouts, but let's not take away. The guy was just getting his ass beat by a Wonder Girl Thompson and Damian Maia just less than 2 years ago.
I mean, now, all right. Did you make up with Joanna Jędrzejczyk? Because I know you guys were fighting in the gym. She said some stuff about you. You said stuff about her. Have you guys made up?
Oh, Joanne? That's funny that you bring up Joanne from Poland. You know, and Joanne made me rich. We did not make up. She wanted an apology, and I gave her an apology. I said she was going to get her face rearranged by the Chinese girl, Weili Zhang, and that's exactly what happened, Adam. And you know what? I got rich off it. I got myself a new president Rolex watch. And, I mean, I am the president's favorite fighter, so it makes sense that I have the presidential Rolex.
Now, you said she asked you out on a date, and you said no, and that's why she got upset?
Yeah, she was flirting me with hard in the gym, Adam. I mean, she was DMing me all the time when I was at American Top Team, and I was like, Joanna, I got standards, man. I only deal with 7.5s and up. You're barely even a 6. Why would I deal with a 6?
And then what did she say?
Room down to 7.5. Like if she has big tits but a wrecked grill, you're like, you're still in. Get in there, you 7.5.
Yeah, but the fake tits, you know, she got the fake titties, so I don't really count those as tits.
Yeah, that's not what I was talking about.
Colby, come on. A lot of those girls have fake tits in your videos and fake asses. It's not like come on. I've seen the women in those videos that you've been posting.
Hey, we weren't talking about the girls in the video, Adam. We were talking about Joanne from Poland.
All right. Okay. Now, I know before you were having a lot of threesomes before coronavirus. You said you were banging left and right. Has this affected your sex life?
No, not at all. You know, I got my steady rotation of girls that I have Monday through Sunday. Everybody knows I am the cardio king, and the cardio king has to get his cardio in the bedroom. So I'm putting the championship rounds in the bedroom, Adam, and I still have my steady lineup of girls Monday through Sunday.
Now, do they wear days of the week underpants so they know which day?
That's a genius idea. I never thought about that until now, brother. Thanks for the great idea. I'm probably going to have those going forward in videos. You're going to see them on their underwears.
Sunday, Tuesday. That's awesome.
Now Masvidal versus Usman, if they fight, who wins?
They're not going to fight. I said it. I've been saying it since my last fight that journeyman George Masvidal is going to price himself out. He doesn't want to fight Marty Fake Newsman. He's scared to fight a wrestler and a complete well-rounded fighter. So George is just going to sit out, Adam. And you see that's what's happening. That's why Dana came out and said, hey, there's other options for George because they can't get the George and Usman fight signed. So I don't know who George is going to fight. He thinks he's getting Conor, but he's not getting Conor. Conor's fighting Nate or he's fighting Khabib, and that's going to be that. George is going to sit on the sidelines and watch real kings go to work.
Fuck, that would suck because that would be a good fight. But if they did fight, who would win?
Oh, Marty would beat him easy. It wouldn't be competitive, dude. George is – dude, he's all hype. Look, he got beat by Damian Maia. I mean, that guy's – I put that guy in a pool of his own blood in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I mean, that guy's nowhere near the top of the food chain. So he got a couple lucky knockouts. I mean, who did he beat? He beat, Ben Ass Cream. Ass Cream was – How did Ass Cream get famous? He got famous for beating up jobbers in Asian bingo halls. Come on.
He beat some good guys. He beat Douglas Lima.
Who's that? I never heard of her.
Who else did he beat? He beat Jay Haran. He beat Robbie Lawler.
Never. No, he didn't. Are you kidding me? He got knocked out unconscious, and Herb Dean saved his life because he thought he was going to die in there, so he stopped the fight.
Come on, but he got the win.
Ben Askren went 0-3 in the UFC, Adam. He's a bum. We don't talk about bums that can't even get one win.
He put Robbie in a bulldog choke, and then he thought he went out. Herb Dean thought he went out. I was there.
He wasn't even close to go. Everybody knew that Robbie stood right up. He wasn't even in any danger. That was a terrible call.
Now, Tyron Woodley came on the podcast, said some things about you. Can I play what he put about you?
Sure, man. I don't care. Anything you want to put about Tyquil Woodley, we know it's all fake news. He's the CNN of the UFC.
Hell yeah. Gonna put the fans to sleep, Adam.
Bree, you hungry with this, Bree? So, all right. How do I share this? Okay. I got to share the thing. All right. So, Tyron Woodley came on.
Working on Usman. I'm working on Colby. He's like, that's not a thing. Kobe's just trying to get fucking attention. He didn't want to fight. And if you go back and you do a Google search, Dana finally came out and said he has turned down the fight against Tyron several times.
He never said that.
He said no.
Yeah.
Like, I got text messages to prove it. Colby's out. That's not even an option. Let's move on. Tell us who you want to fight. Colby's not an option. Colby's just he a clout cheater. That's what he is.
You mean he's just like trolling in order to get his name out there some more? Like,
it's clicks. It's clicks. He wants the U.S. people want me. I'm here to fight if Tyron want to get whooped. The second that fight card was canceled, what did his tone turn to? His tone turned to, I'm waiting to get my rematch with Usman or the winner of Usman versus Masvidal. And if they want me to fight Tyron, they better pay me more money. Why they got to pay you more money?
Adam, why we still listening to this fake news? Fake news. Fake news. Did you hear, Adam, did you hear when he was saying, oh, I want to fight 3 times in 3 weeks? Dude hasn't fought 3 times in 4 years. How's he going to fight 3 times in 3 weeks when the guy won't even fight 3 times in 3 years? The guy's a fucking joke. He's a jobber. He refused to fight me, and that's the facts. You can go ask Dana. I offered to fight Tyquil Woodley on 6 days' notice because he's that big of a bitch, and I would expose him in front of the world. He don't want to fight. He's refusing to fight me. He wants easier fights, so fuck him. He's the CNN in the UFC. He doesn't ever come with real news. You can't believe anything that guy says.
It would be a great fight, though, right? You versus Woodley? You don't think it'd be a great fight?
I mean, it would look like an amateur versus a professional. Yeah, I'd expose him. I mean, quit in the octagon. If that's what you consider a good fight, yeah, sure. A guy that's washed up over the hill that has no motivation against a young, hungry lion that broke him when he was in his prime. How's he going to beat me now? I was beating him when he was in his prime. Now I'm in my prime. I'm better than I've ever been. He has no chance.
Okay,
he doesn't make it 5 rounds, Adam. I promise you that.
All right, can I say what he says about the time you guys wrestled?
You could do whatever you want, but anything he says, you can't believe.
All right, hold on. Let's go.
Well, I mean, it's like a tougher fight, right? Let's just be honest, like let's not stroke your ego because you'll still have to work. You still have to, earn that victory. But
it's not even a style matchup. Like, the thing about Colby is, and I've been waiting to the press conference to let these videos go. Colby was my training.
Such fake news.
That I paid $500 a week and flew him to St. Louis to whoop his ass.
Such fake news.
The whole camp. He faked his ankles injured, and he left. I was in the camp. I don't have a lot of people in my camp. When I was trying to fight Roy McDonald, okay, I brought him in to try to take some shots on me because I knew Roy would say, fuck it, I'm still going to try to take him down, right? And if Roy take you down, his grounding pound at that time was the best in our division. Nobody was trying to be underneath fucking Roy McDonald.
No.
So I brought Colby in because of his pressure to try to give him a lot of reps to try to take me down. I also brought in a striker. No wrestling, just a pure kickboxer, right? So we get to the point where it's time to wrestle, all right? Dean's like, all right, let's get to wrestling. We're gonna do some wrestling. Colby's in the weight room looking around like this. So now,
dude, his stories are not even believable. If you guys even listen, if you guys believe anything this guy says, you guys honestly are being duped.
So that didn't happen.
That never happened. Are you fucking kidding me? You believe him, Adam?
No, of course. Look.
You believe him. The same guy who said he's fighting 3 times in 3 weeks. The same guy that his soul left his body before the Usman fight and he got beat up every second. And I beat Usman for 24 minutes before Mark Not-So-Goddard saved his fucking life. You can't believe anything fucking Tyquil Woodley says. The guy's freaking, all he'll do is pull the black card if you call him out on anything. And he's fucking full of fake news. He's the CNN of the UFC, like I said. Don't believe anything he says.
Well, listen, all I know is I love watching both you guys fight. So, and, that's...
At least Woodley is a good rapper.
Come on. So what are you talking about?
Oh,
at
what?
least he's
Come
got
on.
his rap career to fall back on. Because we fucking know how bad his stand-up comedy was with you, Adam. That shit was terrible.
It was good. People were laughing.
Yeah, right.
He's
only the people you paid to laugh.
So all right. So what do we have in store? Are you gonna fight weekend? Because is that what they're looking at? You versus Usman too?
Dude, I'm looking at all options. Tyquil Woodley can get beat up on any day's notice. I'm ready to fight that guy tomorrow. So if they want to call me with that fight, that's easy money. I'll sign in the contract tomorrow. But, of course I want my rematch, dude. I got fucked my last fight. Fake nut shot, fake eye poke, fake fucking stoppage, hits to the back of the head. man, they fucking had me puking the day before the fight because they gave me bad food and I was fucking throwing up everywhere. Shouldn't even been in the fight. It was my worst performance and my worst night ever and his best night, and he still couldn't beat me. So imagine what happens when I'm at my average next time, or even a little above average. Marty Fake Newsman will be finished. I promise you that, Adam. Just mark my words now and say you heard it here first on Adam's podcast.
I don't think it was the worst performance, man. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen. And you were killing it. The only thing I thought that maybe you could have done was use your wrestling more, you know? I had you up going into the fifth, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. You know, and the judges had me up 3-1 going into the fifth, and I was winning the fifth round. And, you know, I slipped on a banana peel and hit the ground. But you know what? We're fighters. This isn't volleyball. We don't play for points. We play for consciousness. And I signed up to either remove guys' consciousness or get my consciousness removed. That didn't happen. They cheated me out of a fair fight. I was still in the fight. I was on a double leg, Adam. I was defending the back of my head and still clearly in the fight. I popped right up after he stopped it. What are you doing, Mark? How do you not let that go to this judges' scorecards? There's 30 seconds left in a championship 25-minute world title fight. I mean, Mark Nassogado, the best thing about this coronavirus pandemic is Mark Nassogato's little bitch ass is stuck in England, and he can't fuck over any other fighters in the UFC.
Great. Yeah, I mean, well, look, but how are you able to practice with, I know American Top Team's got some amazing guys. Are you able to get the practice that you need right now?
Dude, I'm getting better practices, more one-on-one individualized practices. You know, we're still working extremely hard, and every little weakness area that I ever had before is being turned into strengths. And, you know, I'm getting better every day. You haven't seen my peak yet. You know, you've seen me on the way up, but I haven't hit my full potential yet. And I'm still in my prime, 32 years young. You haven't seen the last of me or the best of me yet. And the best is yet to come, Adam.
So you're as far as like your pressure, which is like insane, how are you able to keep the cardio up right now?
Like I said before, you know, I got my steady rotation of ladies that I can work the cardio in the bedroom with. I mean, there is a reason they call me porn star cardio and the cardio king, you know, and you know, we're just putting a lot of aesthetics in the bedroom. And I'm trying to tell people that, you know, you're stuck. The pandemic sucks, man. The gyms are closed, but don't use that excuse to not get better. There's ways to get better and up your cardio in the bedroom. I mean, you have a wife. I'm sure you're working on it daily. I mean, other people, they might have girlfriends. You know, I mean, I know Marty Fake Newsman ain't nobody trying to sleep with that dude. That dude's hairline, he lost that 10 years ago because he did so much steroids.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hear you, man. I think my wife would probably like you to have talk to her about my stamina because I could get it up actually. All right, so talk about some of the fights coming up.
There's pills for that. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm getting better. Dude, last night I had sex with my wife and I came and she was like, she was close to almost coming. And then she was like, you asshole. Like she called me an asshole for coming. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, I try to hold out, right? I try to do other shit. She's on top. When she's on top, I'm going to come. I'm going to come regardless, but right? Okay. All right. So,
going great over there in the Hunter household.
Yeah, things are going amazing. This Wednesday, who do you have? Anthony Smith or Glover Teixeira?
I got Anthony Smith. I think Glover's a little bit old now. You know, the chin's not the same. You know, he's like 41 or 42. So he's been in a lot of wars, a lot of fights, man. The guy needs to hang him up soon. And I think he's just showing up for the paycheck. So I think Anthony's gonna get it done. What do you think?
I think so too, but Glover always wins fights that I think he's going to lose. He's one of those guys that every time I'm like, oh, he's not going to win this, then he wins. But I like Anthony Smith. I feel bad. He got his house broken into. Like some guy was on meth, like put up a good fight against him, I guess. It was like a state champ wrestler fucking on meth, broke into his house.
Jesus.
So yeah, I like him. Ben Rothwell versus OSP at heavyweight.
Yeah, I got OSP. I think Rothwell looked like shit in his last fight versus Arlovsky, and he's coming off the USADA steroid suspension, so I don't think he's the same fighter, and I think OSP is going to feel good at heavyweight, not cutting weight to light heavyweight, so I think OSP is a little bit more athletic than Rothwell, obviously. He's got the dad bod going, so.
Now, a lot of guys that you've trained with have taken steroids. Have they ever tried to, like, pressure you into it? Like, hey, Colby, you want some?
Yeah. All the time. dude, my whole upbringing and career, like guys were like, hey, do some steroids. It's going to make you a better fighter. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you recover. You can train harder. You can train longer. You can train 3 times a day and feel like you didn't even train once and be good and recover the next day. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to risk the longevity of my life. Like, I'm not going to, just because today it's going to make me feel better, maybe I'll go get some money, but later your body's breaking down. Your heart can't handle all the steroids pumping. Someday you might have a heart attack, and your joints weren't meant to stretch out like that. So yeah, these guys, they want one day of fame, but they don't realize later in life they're gonna pay the consequences for it.
Were you surprised that John Jones went out during quarantine and was driving drunk and firing guns and stuff?
Not surprised at all. John Jones, the biggest dirtbag of them all. My former roommate, my best friend. You know, I love that guy. I'm just trying to be a good friend for him, Adam. I'm just trying to tell him that, you know, stop making the same mistakes, buddy. I know you love to go drink and drive and hit pregnant ladies at stop signs and have hookers in the back of your car while your wife and kids are at home. But, man, stop being a piece of shit. Turn your shit around. And you know what's funny about this, Adam? People don't even realize that the alcohol that John Jones was drinking in his car that the cops reported was Journeyman Jorge Masvidal's tequila that he has. That's what got found that was in the police report. So how good of a friend is Journeyman George Masvidal? He sent an alcoholic alcohol.
That's not – you think – wow, that is kind of
breaking news right now.
Do you think he told him – yeah, but do you think he told him to go shoot guns and drive drunk? He didn't – I mean –
But, dude – I mean, dude, if you're a heroin addict, I'm not going to send you heroin. I mean, it's just common sense.
Do you think John Joe's an alcoholic?
Are you kidding me? He's had like 5 DUIs. I mean, the guy's a drunken cokehead, dude. Everybody knows that.
Well, I can't judge.
Yo, where's the lie? Where's the lie? Hey, man, to each its own, man. Do your thing, man. I'm not judging or anything. I'm just saying.
By the way,
don't claim to be about God and your family when you're out doing cocaine, fucking strippers, fucking hookers, this and that.
By the way, you kept calling out Leon Edwards, but tagging Leon Scott, who I guess is a wrestler. And then Leon Scott came back at you because everyone kept getting mad at him, but it wasn't even the right guy. So was that on purpose? Like
I don't even know who that first name was, but yeah, Leon Scott, man, that guy, man, he's funny. He's a jobber, man, English jobber. No one gives a shit about him.
All right, so Walt Harris versus Overeem on Saturday.
I got Walt Harris, man. I think that he's going to come back strong because, you know, it's an unfortunate situation what had to go on with his family and his stepdaughter. You know, thoughts and prayers to Walt Harris and his family, man. That's an incredibly tragic thing that happened to his daughter. And I think he's going to use that as motivation and fight hard for her. And I think he's going to knock out Alistair Overeem.
I hope so.
Wow.
I hope. Yeah. Claudia Gadelha versus Angela Hill.
Never heard of them.
Angela Hill is a great fighter. She fought like 5 times in the past year. Claudia Gadelha, a former title contender from Brazil, super hot, triplet.
Sounds like a filthy animal.
Have you ever have you ever hooked up
in a good way?
Have you ever hooked up with twins before or triplets?
I can't say that. Oh yes, I have hooked up with these 2 twins from Romania. Oh, they were really good, dude. Beautiful. You know where I met them, Adam?
Where?
I met them at the Paradise Challenge. It's like where all these crazy models, they travel around the world. And this spot they went to Tulum, the one before. We went to Jamaica. We went to this crazy sex resort. We went to, what was it called? It's on the tip of my tongue, Adam. It's
not
great
hedonism, is it?
Hedonism 2. Hedonism 2.
Yeah.
My boy knows what's up.
When did you go to hedonism? When was this?
You been there?
I wanted to go, man. I was gonna go, and then I was like, I don't, because you know why I didn't go? Because I didn't want to be the only guy there not fucking. Like I was afraid that everyone else would be fucking, and I'd be like, anybody wanna? So I was like, not for me. But I looked into it, bro.
You must have got laid nonstop there, Colby.
Oh, dude, there was like 200 of the hottest models around the world with this Paradise Challenge, which is the name of the retreat. And they were all there taking pictures. I was there with the sponsor doing pictures and shit too. And all the girls were losing their mind. I just got done beating the shit out of Robbie Lawler. And we know who Robbie Lawler is. That's the boogeyman. When parents go to tuck their kids in at night, they look under the bed to see if the boogeyman Robbie Lawler is under there. That guy's scary. And you saw what I did to him. I set a strikes record on his face. And then I went, and that was on ESPN. And then I went out to, and I had the first family front row, Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr. Shout out to the Trump family. Keep America great. They're doing great things for America, draining the swamp. But then we go out to hedonism in Jamaica with some of the hottest models in all the world. Man, your boy was eating good every day, sometimes twice a day. It was amazing, Adam. I got some good cardio out there.
Now, weren't you worried, though, about possibly getting STDs or anything? Or, I mean, just, you know, a lot of.
I got no fear, Adam. I'm not scared of anything. There's nothing that scares me in the world. And you know, STDs and, you know, penicillin can cure that.
No, I told my wife that. I'm like, listen, I'm not worried about coronavirus. I used to go down on porn stars.
You can't get herpes twice.
Yeah, she did. That did not go very well. She fucking hit me when I said that. I was like, I'm just saying, like, let's just, you know, sometimes I like go on like YouPorn and like, cause I hooked up with them when they were like younger, and now they're into like, you know, gangbang 17. I'm like, oh, I think I ate that. Anyway, so all right, all right, let's talk about Edson Barboza versus Dan Ige. E-G, I-G. I don't know how you spell it. How you say it?
I don't know either. E-G? E-J?
Iggy.
Nothing?
Who the fuck cares?
All right.
Yeah, who are they?
Edson Barboza.
Why are we talking about jobber fights, Adam?
All right. Well, I mean,
you called the king of chaos, the king of spoilers. Like, why are we dealing with shit these guys nobody even cares about or talks about? I mean, the average people, if these people walk on the streets, not one person is going to recognize them.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, because right now, I mean, we're waiting. You're waiting to get the call for either Woodley or Usman. Who do you think?
Or Journeyman George.
Who do you think's the hardest fight for you out of those three?
I think they're all easy fights, to be honest. You know, you saw me at 20% my last fight versus Usman. You know, I didn't even get to 30% like him. He got lucky to make it to 30%.
So you had food poisoning the night before the fight?
2 nights before the fight. The night before weigh-ins, the last meal that I got from the UFC PI, you can go ask. Hey, this is straight up knowledge. You can go ask the guys that work at the PI. This guy, Charles and Clint, they had to come over to my room at the Trump Hotel because the Trumps hooked me up. They rolled out the red carpet for me, man. They gave me first-class treatment just like they treat America first class. But I'm puking all up in my room. The Clint and Charlie had to come over to my room, give me these like rehydration kit and sit with me while I threw up like 20 times. And then I didn't even have to cut weight. I was like 8 pounds, 10 pounds over. I ended up just waking up underweight because I threw up so much. I had no electrolytes in my body. And then obviously I felt it in the fight, dude. I felt walking out. I was like, dude, I feel drained. I feel weak. I was telling my coaches, I was like, dude, my organs feel like they feel so weak. Like he was just touching my liver before the fight and my stomach. He was like, dude, your stomach feels like, you know, you get touched in it. It feels like butter, you know, and it's never like that. So, you know, and a couple of times he hit me in the stomach in the fight and I just felt like there was a knife going through it. That, dude, people don't realize how big of a deal throwing up affects your body and like the chemistry and everything. So, yeah, dude, I'm not lying. I don't make shit up. There's no reason for me to hide anything. You can go. There's people that'll confirm this story. Go ask the people at the PI. Ask all my coaches that were in my room when I was puking all night, the night before Wayne's, 2 days before a world title fight.
Now dude, that's crazy. I don't think anybody knew that. I think that's a major factor.
Now, Colby, you've competed your whole life. You know, you at the highest levels, amazing wrestler, and you know you've lost matches before and shook the guy's hand afterwards. How come you didn't shake Usman's hand after the fight?
Because, you know, I'm not here to make friends, Adam. I'm here to make money. And you know, this is business. You know, I didn't come here and I'm not going to shake my enemy's hands. You know, if he would have came by, you know, I might have shaken it. But, dude, that's a real rivalry, man. This isn't like these other guys where, you know, it's a fake rivalry. You know, these guys are just, they're touching hands, they're touching butts. You know, I don't want to lose my focus or take my eyes off the prize and what I'm really out to do. Dude, that guy's not my friend, not even after the fight, because there will be a sequel and a trilogy fight with me and Marty Fake Newsman. And I want him to know this is personal. This is a rivalry now. Like, we're not friends. I'm not going to be friends with you when I'm done fighting you. We're getting locked in a cage to take each other's brain cells. When I get done with you, we're not going to be friends. It's just business, nothing personal.
Are you watching that Michael Jordan documentary about the Bulls right now?
Nah, I actually haven't. I want to get caught up soon on The Last Dance, but I haven't been able to catch an episode yet. How is it? Is it good?
It's amazing. It's the best.
It's really great. It's fascinating.
You try to remind me of him a little bit, Jordan. Like, 'cause that's the way Jordan was. Like, if you beat him in something, all he would do was think about that and then come back and beat you. So
I heard some funny stories too, that like he would show up to the arena, you know, and he's just got hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's gambling against the stewardess or the ushers there, like $5 games. Who $5 games who can get like quarters closer to the door or something like that.
Yeah, and he'd make up reasons to fucking hate you. And it's all he needed was one thing, and then he's the most competitive person of all time. It's amazing, by the way. What do you think of Henry Cejudo retiring?
I think that it's a fake retirement. I think he's looking for more money, and he's not really going to retire. So he's just looking to use leverage and get money from the UFC. And let's be honest, he doesn't want to fight the top contenders. He's just looking to fight guys that are washed up and past their prime. So how is that a real champion?
Well, do you think the Dominick Cruz fight was stopped too early?
Oh, way too early. Dominick was coming back to his feet, dude. He was intelligently defending himself and coming back up. Like, if he's stuck on the ground and in a fetal position or on knees and hands, then I could justify stopping the fight. But how do you stop a fight when a guy's coming back up to his fight and he still wants to fight?
Yeah. I could see it both ways. I mean, yeah, it was quick. And plus, there was only 10 seconds left on the round. You could have given him that 1 minute to recover. So.
And, dude, Adam, come on, bro. Like, we signed up for this. This is what we signed up to go out on our sword. Dude, look at Gagey. What if they would have stopped the fight in the second? Then he never gets to go on and win the fight. Come on, dude. Like, dude, if you high-level athletes like me, Dom, guys that have won world titles that are fighting in these high-level world title fights, put us to sleep. That's what we want. That's what we asked for, to go out on our sword. And if you take that away from us, you're robbing us of a fair fight, because you don't know what's going to happen after that.
You think Stipe should be stripped right now for not fighting? Because he says he can't.
How long was his last fight, though? Has it been a year yet?
I don't know, but he said he can't find training because everything's closed.
That's a lie, though. I don't like him lying, you know, and he has lied before. I know he's not a faithful guy, and I don't really trust the guy, because he was coming out before saying, oh, Colby was talking shit to my wife at one of the UFC events. What? Dude, I've never said one thing to a woman. I respect women. You know, I have 2 sisters. I grew up with all women. So that was complete bullshit. And what he's saying now is bullshit. He has keys to get in a gym. He's a world champion UFC. Like, he can go to any gym he wants, and they'll have individualized training and training partners waiting for him. So he needs to stop hiding and fight DC, or let DC fight Francis.
Yeah. What did you think of the Francis fight? That was pretty scary, huh?
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Francis is a scary guy, but how could you be scared of anybody with the first name Francis?
Good point. It's a very good point.
All you got to do is look at him and be like, oh, I'm sorry, Francis.
Is there any female fighter that you're attracted to?
No, I'm not attracted to female fighters, to be honest. Most of them are just nasty, man. They're training twice a day in gyms. They're all gross. They don't take showers when they go home. And most of them don't even like guys, you know. They're lesbians. So nothing against that. To each their own. Do your own thing. But it's just, you know, I got no interest in any girl fighters. I mean, they're all just disgusting.
Now, Paige Van Zandt's husband, Austin, said he beat you in wrestling. Is this true?
Adam, you know that's fake news.
I'm kidding.
I beat that guy 15-0 in the first round, Adam. 15-0. I teched him.
That's what he said. He did say that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I mean, come on, there's levels to this shit.
He's good though. He's actually really good.
Dude, he's a stud, dude. I remember when I wrestled him, I was like, this guy is fucking strong. He had no cardio, and everybody knows I'm the cardio king. So, you know, if he could learn to relax and use that strength to his advantage and conserve his energy, he could be a really good fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Colby, any questions for Colby, Joe, or Greg?
I have a question.
Yes.
Once you get the 170-pound belt, would you ever consider making a run at 155 for the belt or 185? Yeah,
absolutely. I started my career at 185. I wasn't cutting any weight because I weigh 185 pounds soaking wet. So, you know, I wouldn't mind going up to 85. And I believe my skills against Israel match up very well. I just don't think he could handle my pressure and constant in-his-face attitude. You know, I'm not going to let him sit away at striking range and strike at me. And, you know, I could honestly make like 160, 162, you know. So if Khabib wants to do a super fight and meet in the middle of the 60, 65 weight class, we could do that too. And we know the sheepfucker has no chance against me. That guy has no wrestling. He's not going to out-wrestle me.
No wrestling?
For shit.
You've got amazing wrestling. No wrestling?
Bro, if wrestling was easy, they would call it Sambo, Adam.
Come on, his wrestling is not.
Who's he wrestling? Who's he wrestling? He's wrestling all these jobbers, these fucking nobodies. He ain't wrestling. He's fighting everybody at lightweight. Dude, they're all boxers.
Fucking Ally Akita was a good wrestler.
No, he wasn't. Come on, Adam. Get out of here.
I think he stayed in New York or something.
Adam, stop defending him, man. He's never fought anybody with any kind of wrestling credentials. He'll get exposed soon.
Michael Johnson was a wrestler.
You're funny, man. You are so funny.
An all-American wrestler.
Is that how you make it in Hollywood, being a comedian?
Come on.
You just make these funny-ass jokes up all the time?
He's a good wrestler. Michael Johnson's a good wrestler, no?
Adam, man, I love you. You always make me laugh, dude. You're hilarious. You are hilarious. I love you, Adam.
I love you too, man. So that's all right. So, Greg, any questions for the great Colby Covington?
Yeah, you've done a lot of threesomes, probably foursomes. You ever do the stack?
What's the stack?
Where you just make them lie on top of each other and you fuck them one down the bottom and then all the way back to the top?
I can't say I've ever done that. Is it pretty?
Well, next time we talk to you, I want to know that you have. Let's make that a goal.
I'm going to try and get some video confirmation for you if I do it, because I'm not going to come back with fake stories, Greg, and be like, oh, I did this, I did that. I'm not Tyrone Woodley, so if I have something, I'll come back with confirmation.
And I'll believe you. I will believe you.
Now, Colby, back when I used to be fun and have threesomes and enjoy my life, I would always notice that,
with the wife right there.
I would always notice that one girl was hotter than the other girl.
Always.
I paid attention to the one that wasn't as hot. If you go with the hot one, then she feels like, all right, we're both going to leave. You have to go to the one that wasn't as hot, so that way the other girl will get kind of insecure and try harder. Was that your tactic as well?
Yeah, that was my tactic as well. But, I learned that, that when you don't give one attention, they'll come out and try and drag your name through the mud and make you seem like you're a piece of shit person for it.
Is that what happened with you? That's
what happened with me. I don't know if you remember, there was this girl, Kelsey Monroe. She tried to come out. I wasn't giving her any attention. She tried to came out and like, oh, Colby's a piece of shit. That never happened, this and that. And just like trying to drag my name through the mud, make me look like a piece of shit. But really, she was just mad that, I didn't have any feelings for her.
It happens.
What can you do, bro?
Listen,
this is, you know what they call this? They call this the reflection of perfection.
Who calls it that? You?
No, the people. Why do you think I'm a people's fan?
You know what they call this? The bottom of the barrel. That's
Hey, the bottom of the barrel, everybody knows that's where the best is at.
That's right. Smart and final. That's what they
End of the road. Listen, Colby, thank you so much, man. Can't wait to watch you fight again. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. I really appreciate it, man.
My brother, thanks a lot, Adam. Thanks for having me. Good talking with you, Greg and Joe. And take care, guys. Stay safe and healthy.
You're the
out
man,
there.
bro.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Peace.
Later, boys.
Later. All right, that was Colby Covington.
What a guy, man. I gotta tell you, can't. It's hard not to love the guy. The guy's he's a great performer, a great fighter, and just, he's great. He's great, with running his mouth. He's fucking great.
And he backs it all up.
He does. And you know what? He's being honest. None of it's coming, from any place other than his honest opinion. That's what he truly, honestly feels, and you know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's hilarious. So holy shit, is he funny? I think he wants to go into pro wrestling. I think he's got a huge career in pro wrestling after MMA if he wants to.
Well, he's adopted the Trump style of insults, and so that plays right into it. It's perfect.
Hell yeah.
He had all the fake newsmen, everybody, Journeyman George. It's right out of the Trump playbook, and I got to tell you, it works for him like a charm. It's kind of like I think this is where it belongs, though. I think it belongs in sports. I think it belongs in entertainment. In this venue, I think it's fucking hilarious.
He's definitely also filling a niche of so much of MMA fan base. And look, I'm not a liberal and I'm not a conservative. I'm an independent. I'll vote whoever I think is.
Absolutely.
So, but I think that a lot of MMA fan base are, conservatives, and they don't have anyone really to kind of represent their feeling and how they feel, and he's perfect for that,
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you're right. There is a very strong, red stripe through the UFC fan base, which is fine. and he taps right into that. And again, it's genuine. It's not like he made this up and decided to go with it. It's real, man. He's a genuine article. And I love that. I love that about him. I don't have to agree with him politically to not enjoy the motherfucker for what he is. He's fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, that's our podcast. Thank you everybody for watching. Greg, what do you have coming up? Anything?
I think I'm going to probably get high and have lunch.
Nice. Cool. Weendawg, you?
I'm going to get lunch and then get high.
All right. Well, this Friday night, I'm doing a Zoom comedy show. Link will be in my bio on Instagram @AdamComedian.
By the way, Adam, thank you for having me on the show. Dude, I got to tell you, Weendawg, I don't know if you saw the Friday show. Okay, so I figure I'm doing a standard 10, 12 minutes, and I come on and there's nobody else. First of all, last show, there was like 8 people. This time there's nobody else. And he fucked up the link. So people are showing up so he goes, Greg, I need you to do 20 to 25.
This is the comedy show.
I gave out the wrong link.
And he gave out the wrong link. So he's focused on doing the tech.
Eventually we had 100 people, but while he was on, I had to email everyone, sorry, I gave you the wrong link. Look,
right.
It took me 20 years to master regular comedy shows.
No, listen, I get it. I was just up there just tap dancing my fucking ass off. And I'm like, of all the times to not book another comic. Yeah. But I appreciated it, man. And I understood what was happening. And
you want to do it again Friday?
Huh?
Friday again? You down again or no?
I think I'm all right for this one. Well, because here's the other thing is I was in the middle of a poker game when that happened. I have a regular Friday night poker.
You asked to be on the show.
Well, yes, and wait, hold on.
You told me you were on my show.
Hold on. Yes. It normally 10 to 12 minutes, that's fine. I just sit out and I lose a couple blinds and it's totally fine. But over 20 minutes, now I lose a couple, bigger losses. So it ended up actually costing me a lot more because I had a bad run at the beginning and lost like 3 fucking hands. So it ended up fucking me deep. So I think this Friday I'll just stick to the game.
All right. Well, no problem.
But I still appreciated it. I'm not saying that, it was just, I thought it would be a quick dip out, do the set and come back. And it just turned out to be a little bit longer. But I appreciate you letting me have this. I love doing it. And I always love working with you.
Well, I just tried to text Colby, you really are the best. It came out, you really are the last. I'm like, great.
Oh, no. Well,
the best. Anyway.
Great.
Awesome. Well, listen, that was a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure that you comment on Instagram, on the YouTube, comment, fucking share it, tell everyone how great it is. Also the SoundCloud, comment on iTunes, and take care. Bye.